So I was going through Joshua 3 today, the story of the promised land, where the children of God are about to inherit the blessings that God has intended for them. And as I was reading this story, there was one particular passage, and it was chapter 3, verses 15 through 17. In this particular part of the book of Joshua, you see the children of God and the priests moving forward, taking action. And what happens is they're about to cross the Jordan into the promised land, and you see the priests carrying the Ark of the Covenant. And as they put their feet in the water, then God moves. And as I was reading this and just kind of reflecting on this story, how often in our lives as well does God wait on us to start making decisions, right? Like there's times where we have to wait on the Lord 100%. But I think one of the worst places to be is missing out on opportunities and missing out on things that God wants to do in our lives. Either we're stuck in fear, stuck in shame, stuck in just our own thoughts, our own head, and not being able to move forward, almost like an analysis paralysis, where we're like, no, I'm just not going to do that. And all God wants from us, one is, of course, obedience, but he wants us to be able to step forward into the things that he wants to bless us with. And oftentimes, we may not even know necessarily what the right step is, but we start taking steps. And because we take steps in a direction, God meets us where we're at. And as I'm reading Joshua, I see obedience. I see them walk into the water, and I see God respond to their obedience of taking a step of faith, not knowing like, hey, that this miraculous thing's about to happen, but being called to do something, especially things that you may not necessarily know why God is calling you to do that. And I've created a video on this a while back. I want to say it'll end several months ago on when God calls you to do something and it sounds crazy, do it, because you don't know necessarily what the intention is behind that until most likely at the end. And you may not even know ever. There may be times where there's just a ripple effect out and so many people are affected because of the decisions that you make. And so as I was reading Joshua 3 today, I just had so much peace as I was navigating this, because this is a life reflection or a life application for somebody who wants to live a God-honoring life. There are times where God makes it abundantly clear. He gives us a sign. He gives us some sort of confirmation, reading his word through prayer. He makes things clear. But then there are times where we just have to step out in faith. We have to test it. Test what is going on. Test the spirit behind the action of what we're stepping into. That could be a job. That could be a relationship. There could be something that's available, and just because it's available doesn't always mean that it is coming directly from God. And so as we take steps in the direction of what we feel like God is calling us into, we then can see God move in those circumstances. And there's been many times in my own life where I'm sitting and I'm waiting and I'm recognizing, like, all right, maybe there is some decisions that I can make today. And the second I start to actually move and take action, I see an effect. And I'm like, wow, okay. Or I just feel the presence of God in a stronger way. Or I just have a greater level of like a revelation. Or I read the word and I feel closer to God. Or he quite literally does something. And it changes you. Because you're like, wow, okay, God met me in this place. I remember there was a viral story posted recently of a family who moved from West Canada down to like Atlanta to be part of like a larger church. And the gentleman who ran that family, the father, the head of the household, said that he felt like very strongly that God called him to move his family down there. And during one of the first church services of them being down there, the pastor learned about it, stopped the church service, confirmed that this actually happened, offered them $50,000 on the spot and full-time jobs. Now, I'm not going to say that that's exactly what's going to happen for you, but I think that's an amazing high-level example of stepping out in faith and letting God either bless you in the moment that you're in or reroute you. Because you may step into the things that you think that you want or you think that you should be pursuing, only to then get a realization that actually this is very clear, this is not from God, right? And that many examples of that could be a relationship. You don't know if that person is your husband or wife unless you take a step into it. You don't know if that calling or career is for you unless you step into it. And then you start to have a sense of, all right, I have joy in this. It's not really working. Let me persevere through it. Or maybe God just blesses it abundantly and he makes it abundantly clear this is for you. Or the other end of the spectrum. No, stop this. Turn around. And As we grow in our relationship with God, I believe those circumstances can get easier. I believe as we spend more time with people who also know God, who are pursuing the Lord, who are praying with you, who are able to see into your life and offer advice, see how you're gifted, affirm certain things, that those people will also be able to bring you closer to what God's calling you rather than going up to any random person out into the world and getting counsel. And unfortunately, even if that counsel comes from family or friends of unbelieving individuals, right? Like Psalms 1 says, blessed are those who receive wise and godly counsel. And then also it says in Proverbs as well, it talks about unwise counsel. We want to avoid that. We want to have wisdom to receive counsel from the right people. And so once we have tested, I think of 1 John 4, it says test the spirits. Once we have tested the advice we get, we're able to have discernment of who it is that we can go to receive appropriate advice. We've gone to God first and foremost. And then we recognize, all right, this is a decision I'm going to step in. And Lord, please reveal to me your plans for this. Please reveal to me if this is a closed door you want me to move out. Please reveal to me if this is something that you want me to persevere in. And I just believe that God will do that. I just truly believe that. And again, I'm reading Joshua 3 today, which is very encouraging. The story of the promised land, where it's time to move forward. It's time to step into these great things that God has prepared for you. He's brought you through a season of hardship or difficulty. He's brought you through a time of refinement. And now it's just time for you to step into the thing that God wants for you. But he's not going to force you. Go ahead. Take steps forward. Like, go do it. And watch how God reacts or responds, maybe is the better way, to your step of obedience and step of faith. All right. If you guys got value in this video, I invite you to subscribe, leave questions, comments, anything else down below. Besides that, hope to see you guys in the next video.